So in this video, I'm going to teach you how to prepare for interviews effectively, and I'm going to give you 6 amazing tips that will help you as your next interview. Hello, my name is Dulik. I help you become more successful with your career and life. So let's get started. So the first tip I want to give you when it comes to preparing for interviews is that take time to create a document called interview success to store your notes, tips, tricks, and anything that you need for your interviews. This is something I regularly did when I was preparing for interviews, and then really helped me become successful. So this is something I highly recommend you do as well. It will help you essentially organize, keep track, you know keep track of your new learnings and new things you learn about interviews, or any key points that you need to remind yourself before the interviews, that you can use this to record. So I started using a physical book, physical notes first, and then I transferred it to using Google Docs, because Google Docs really helped me to access it if I'm on the phone, if I'm on the computer. It really helped me access it pretty quickly. So I created my document on Google Docs. So something that I will recommend you do as well. So really use this document to store and track all the things that and then continue to review and continually update it. So that way you have the most important information and the most best information that is available for your interview. So take time to create the interview success document, so you can store all your notes and details about your interviews that is coming up for you. So tip number 2, do background research on your company. And this is something I don't see many people, actually many professionals don't spend enough time to do this. And I would say even doing a little bit of background research is better than doing no research at all. The key to doing background research is not for more than trying to show company how much is for you to feel comfortable with who you're going to be talking with, who you're going to be working with, for to figure out what kind of culture do they have, right? And then how to speak to them in the interview, right? So really know the background research, do background research of for yourself, for on the company, because it is somewhere you're going to be spending a lot of time on. And so make sure that how their culture is, what they offer, what their websites like. See if there's any information in social media, right? Really understand what they're about, and how they run their culture, and how they help their employees, how they help their customers, and things like that. So 2 places that I would start with the research is essentially their about page, and then also I would look at to see if there's any news in there in online, right? So I would essentially go to and search, basically Google, right? And then I would Google for essentially to see if they have any what do you call, any news, any good news that are coming up from their company, right? So that's one of the things I will be looking out to see if there's any good um, um, any news, or any acquisitions, or anything that is that would capture my eye, right? So any acquisitions, raising money, or things like that is what I'm looking for. So then I would make a note of those things that is happening for them. And another thing I would make sure that I do is that I know I make an intent, or I make a focus for myself to know who their key customers are, not individually in terms of identifying which companies they're working on, rather their customer profile, like what type of customers are they looking for, what type of customers are they targeting, right? Try to get an idea with that and see who they're trying to help essentially. This is the one thing that makes my conversation easier with my clients, is that to know what customers they're trying to serve, and then talking to them about how to solve the issue that they're experiencing. So I one of the things I ask is like, what are some of the issues their company's running into, right? So like in order to know that, you need to know what customers that they are working with, right? So know what customers, products, and services they offer. Very important. And then make sure that you write down everything you learn in somewhere that you can quickly access. So tip number 3, create a 20 to 30 with interview questions list, right? So I would say take time to create a 30 to 20 to 30 questions list and take time to answer them. I know it is work, answering 20 to 30 questions it's a lot of work, right? But I would say because it is interviews and because your job and your career dependent on it, it is something that is very valuable. And I know it will pay off. It will definitely pay off because the things that you answer, it's going to be, you continue to be answering them. You think the practice you get from interviewing, you will be continuing to use those things for your, subsequently your career, right? So one of the things that I always recommend people do is that they take time to do their interviews so that they can become, more masterful with the way they speak, and they can be more articulated, right? So really focus on creating these 20 to 30 questions, so that way, if some of these questions that come up on the interviews, you can comfortably answer, right? And make sure that you do this before you get interviews. Don't try to start doing this, once you get the interview, because that's a lot of work for you to do, very short period of time, right? So make sure that you do this before you get the interview, so you have enough time to do it. So I'm telling you, doing this will have helped me a lot in my career, because it really helped me answer key questions that keep coming up. And once you learn these 20 to 30 questions, and once you keep adding the ones that are missing, you will come to a point that you are so articulate and so proficient and giving the answers, it comes to you so naturally, right? So it's almost like you prepared for it, but you did prepare, but because you prepare it so much, it comes to you so naturally that the conversations will be a lot easier. You will have a lot more confidence during the interviews as well. So very important advice on this one. And make sure that you do online research, right? Make sure that you take time to do online research for your company, and make sure that you use sites like Glassdoor, Indeed, to take a look at what are these questions are. There are questions like this available, especially in Glassdoor, that you can see what other people have gotten asked in these interviews. Or if not, you can always go online, search, and once you get about 20 30 questions, answers 20 30 questions, you will pretty much be able to address majority of the problems, or majority of the questions that people will be asking from you, right? Come up with a online research for good answers as well, right? It's not about just like looking for questions. Look for good answers that you can provide them, that you can resonate with, that matches your style. Don't give answers that doesn't match your style. Don't give answers that is not authentic, that is not truthful, right? That's why people feel very nervous, in my opinion, is because they fail to, first of all, practice, right? Practice answering the question they know how to answer. The other aspect of it is that they try to show off to somebody things that they cannot do. That is difficult on you, because what you're trying to say is not true, and then when you try to say it, it comes off wrong, it comes off not the right way, so you're aware about that, so that makes you nervous. So really go back to sticking to what you really know how to say, what you can answer. And if you don't know some things, look, that's not something I have experienced myself, but all I can say is that I can learn things pretty fast, as you can see from my profile, my experience, the way I've taken certifications and things like that. So that's one of the things I will tell you, to show people that you are a fast learner. Take courses, take certifications, you know and make sure that any information that you come across, any valuable stuff you come across, you put it on your interview success document, so you can refer it to later. So tip number four essentially tells to be fluent with the tell me about yourself question. And this is, I would say, to feel confident in your interviews, in during your interviews, this is the most important thing you should learn to master first, to answer tell me about your questions. It's a key to feeling confident, and also being able to show, to give you the positive impression for your recruiters, or hiring managers, by answering the tell me about yourself question. in a more articulated way, or in a way that shows people that you know what you're doing, and that you have had experience, and you can give some accomplishments that you have done. So one of the things when I get asked, do like tell me about yourself a little bit, so I say, yeah, for sure. So I go like, I have a hands-on experience working as a solution architect for enterprise companies. I have helped them develop their lead generation and demand generation strategies. I have worked with software such as Salesforce, Marketo, and Eloqua to create these implementations and campaign and strategies. And I've been able to have customers and clients who are extremely happy with my services because of the care and the love I provide them, and they have been keep coming back to do work with me continuously. And then I'm being able to provide them more features, more software that they'll be able to integrate and be able to improve their revenue. So I would say something like that, right? But it really depends on your style. It depends on what you feel resonated. So I would say really research online for one that matches your style, especially when it comes to tell me about yourself, and then write a script, right? Write a script that you enjoy speaking, right? And then after that, once you write a script, make sure everything is good, and then you practice it. Make sure that you practice it until it becomes natural for you, right? And once it becomes natural for you, then it will be easy. Then you don't need to do it again. But the key thing is create a script for the tell me about yourself, and then practice it until it's natural. And go with your style. Go with what is natural for you and what is authentic for you. This is very key. And the next thing I would recommend you do is practice. Practicing is so key. Practice by yourself, right? This is number tip 5. Practice interviewing by yourself. And when it comes to interviews, repetition is key to interview success. I wish there was another way, but the way to essentially become successful at interviews is you have to practice it. You have to pretend that you're getting interviewed, and then pretend answering these questions, right? So some of the things I do in these videos is that I have practiced ones before, right? I create a couple of practice ones before I created this one, right? So if that one worked well, then I would have used that video. But because it didn't work the best, there's improvements to be made. I understood what those improvements are, and I made them as needed, right? And there will be more improvements that I will make from on these videos. So the repetition really helps you to see what you need to make and correct them. And then once you learn to be good at interviews, that's it. You're good at it. You don't need to be any more. Like, you can continually work on your craft, even become even better. But once you become good at it, when you're good at it, you can get the results you want, right? When you interview, if you're getting, like, pretty much every time I go to an interview, I have pretty, high success rate. I have a chance of getting in because of the information I present and the way I talk to them. And I know that, and it's a confident. If it doesn't really work out, it's not probably very likely a place that I don't want to work either, because when I go to interviews, I focus on making a friendly relationship with the recruiter and the manager, because very likely I will be spending a lot of time with them, and if I cannot get along with them right away, or like I have a hard time building a rapport with them right away, I don't know if it's the right place for me to work, right? So I really try to focus on, even if I don't get the job, to be honest, I focus on making a friend with somebody who I can work with later on. Maybe not for this job, maybe later on. I give whatever I know how to help them with their job. So my thing the thing about my interviews that I use interviews to make get to know someone, improve a relationship, or make a relationship with somebody, rather than focus on solely on getting a job, because job is a temporary thing, but the relationship is permanent, right? More eternal, more long lasting. So my interviews are essentially catered towards making a friend, and telling the friends what I've been working on, what I've been doing, and things that I don't know how to do, and things I know how to do, and things that I've created, right? That's another thing I show in interview, things that I've been working on and created and what I'm excited for. So that's one of the things I would do, right? And when you're practicing for these interviews, make sure that you study yourself, right? I one of the things I recommend you do is that use a camera, use your webcam, and put it on when you're practicing, right? And see what you're getting right, what you're getting wrong, what you can improve, right? And any notes that you come across, anything you come across, add to your list, add to your IST list, right? So that way you can keep track of everything. So tip number 6, the next tip is essentially ask great questions from your interviewer. Again, this is something that is very important that I don't see many people don't do, but they must. I recommend they highly do. Is asking great questions from the interviewer. It really shows when you be able to ask questions from an interviewer, that your interest towards your company, and also the mindset that you have towards your potential employers, right? So this is one of the reasons I say, like, take time to write down what these questions are, go research what these questions are that you can ask, so that way you can set the right tone, right? You can show the right interest, and you can show your mindset, you can show you where, how you, what your analytical skills are, right? So when one of the some of the questions that I ask is, when I go to interviews, even when I interview people, is, one of the things that I ask from the interviewer is that, what personality traits are they looking for in an ideal candidate for this position, right? Like, what are they specifically hoping to get, what are the specific traits that they're looking for, right? So that's one of the things I ask, because it really helps them to think about what traits, because to see if there's any of those traits I have, any of those traits. So if I have any of those traits, that's great, right? So then I can say, look, it seems like I may have that, I have trait because I've done these things that shows that. And I asked them, what problems and challenges are they facing. I wonder, I want to know why are they even hiring for this issue, this position. Why are they hiring for this role? What are they trying to solve by hiring for this role? What, I asked them, what are you trying to solve, what are you trying to address by hiring for this role, right? So that's one of the things that I would ask, so that way I can really know, can I help with the problem they're struggling with? Can we work together to solve that problem, right? So that's one of the things I would ask. And the next thing I ask is, what is their expected 30-day, 60-day, 90-day plan for this role? Like, what are they expecting for me to do essentially when I get started? What is the plan for the 30 days? What is the plan for 60 days? What are they plan for 90 days? What are they hoping that I can do for them within these time periods, right? It will help them really show, these questions essentially show them, like, how thoughtful you are, how organized you are, right? So, it also shows that, if you're asking questions this way, that you are the right person, you are looking at, in an advanced way, you are looking in a way that is, organized way about how to do the work, right? So these are the things I would keep an eye and ask you to pay attention, and also do more research on what type of questions that you want to ask, right? It really depends on your job, but these are the ones that I would go with, right? I hope you enjoyed my tips. And if you like these tips, follow me for more tips. I'll be releasing these things every week. Take care.